Well, the leading lights of African American business, culture, and media are all going to be on hand at a dynamic virtual event coming up at the end of this month. I learned more from Jim Stallings. He's the CEO of PS27 Ventures, and they are sponsoring the Black Leadership Town Hall for Jacksonville. Take a listen. Jim Stallings, thanks for being with us. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me a part of the program. Always great to be a part of your program.
Always good to hear your insights, and I'm excited to let everyone know about the city's first ever Black Leadership Town Hall, which your organization, PS27 Ventures, is sponsoring. You've got an amazing lineup of local celebrities and business leaders. Tell us about it. What's on the agenda?
Yeah, this is going to be a conversation, and it's probably the first of its kind. I'm not sure that's ever happened at this level, but these are some phenomenal people, very successful. They've got their own story about their life, in most cases in a corporation and a big organization. And we've taken a little bit of their time to share that story about what it was like to start out, in some cases, when there wasn't as much diversity in corporations and businesses and organizations, and what it was like to be the one and only sometimes, to be by themselves, to have mentors, to grow a career. What we're finding, let's say, is the first time many people particularly this year when so much has happened, it's the first time a lot of folks have had a conversation about race, about diversity, about inclusion, what it means, why it matters. So we just thought we'd reach out to some people that have lived it and been successful and can look back and not only talk about the journey, but also their view and hope for the future. Because I've talked to all of them in preparation for this, and I've just gotten so inspired by what they've done. So that's really what it is. It's a gift to Jacksonville to have this conversation locally with these wonderful, wonderful leaders.
And it's an amazing lineup. Let me read it out quickly. The speakers are Darnell Smith, Market President, Florida Blue; Denise Williams, Executive at FIS; Andre Wallace, President of Jax USA; Dr. Ivan Porter of Mayo Clinic; Nicole Thomas, President of Baptist South; Mark Dawkins, former Dean at UNF; News for Jax anchor Tanika Hughes; and yourself, Jim Stallings, the CEO of PS27 Ventures, a venture capital company. So when you say the panelists will discuss their personal story, we'll hear yours too. Tell us a little bit about your journey to the top of the business world and some of the challenges you faced along the way.
Well, I'm going to be a moderator, so I'll sort of salt in throughout the program a little bit about myself, but really the goal is to get them to share. I started a very poor family in North Carolina. It was a big family. There were 6 kids and a lot of extended. And my mom and dad never finished school. They had to work on the farm. My mom was a sharecropper, and that means, a lot of people don't know what a sharecropper is. That means her grandmother was a slave, and there was a period of time when her mother was just a step away from being a slave. So their expectations of me was just get a job. Just find some stable. I had big dreams. I wanted to go to the Naval Academy. I wanted to be a lieutenant in the Marines. I wanted to lead a platoon. And the expectations were low, but my dreams were big. I had very few people that understood around me. Fortunately, I had some people to help me. 2 things happened. One was the Supreme Court forced the integration of schools in North Carolina, which allowed me to go from the very worst black segregated high school to the very best white high school in the city of Raleigh, North Carolina. That one year back in 1970, that changed my life because I got a chance to get exposed to college prep courses and junior ROTC. I also met a gentleman. His name was Stephen Razakis. He's passed away. And I told him my dream. And he said, I'm going to help you. And he was the first person in my life that understood it, understood me, and I'm where I am today, honestly, because of him. Because he prepared me and taught me and showed me literally how to get into the academy, and I did, and that launched me into so many opportunities. Just would not have occurred if those two things hadn't happened. So that's a little bit about my story. Sometimes people forget that it's small things in your life, it's big people in your life that you come in contact with that make all the difference. And these other executives on this program, they've got even more incredible stories, and it will inspire people to learn, to have this conversation, to make sure that everybody gets access and opportunity, because you just don't know that person that's been denied. If they get in, they can make a change in somebody else's life and change the world in some cases. So we're really, really excited about it, and I really can't wait to open this up to Jacksonville.
It will be an insightful conversation, particularly since they'll be telling their stories, Jim, but also talking about the pandemic, high unemployment in this community coming out of that, the Black Lives Matter movement. There will be some timely topics on the agenda, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like everything's happening at once in this country. And even though every week there's one of those issues that you just rattled off, it's sort of top of mind, but they're all happening at the same time. And that's part of why we wanted these executives to speak, because they're, in many cases, they're in business, they're in government, they're in healthcare. They're faced with this every single day. So we not only want to have them talk about their journey as an African American or woman, we also want them to talk about what is it like on the front line, dealing with issues, their employees, their suppliers, their vendors, their contractors. All of this is affecting every single one of them. So we're drawing on their life experience, but we're also drawing out of them their leadership and their advice. We've invited literally hundreds. I mean, there are people that are signing up every day just to listen to this on Zoom. And a lot of them we're finding are middle managers. They're first-line managers. We've got students from the universities around the area. They want to know the context of why what's happening is happening, what's happening, and what should we be doing about it. So, again, one example, Nicole Thomas, she's just to point out one of them. She's dealing with COVID-19 in her facility. She was walking me through this crack team of specialists that are dealing with some of the most distressed cases of COVID-19 right here in Jacksonville, in her facility. I mean, she's down on the floor working with this. Now, we all know, just from the data, that it has a severe impact, a disproportionate impact on African Americans and people of color. And she's a person of color, and she's providing health care to everybody and seeing this firsthand. So we're asking her, what is that like? Are you afraid? How's your staff reacting to it? How do you keep them motivated every day? So I want her to tell that story. Denise Williams, a lot of people don't know Denise. She's grew up in Long Island, New York. She's the chief HR officer right here in Jacksonville for one of the largest companies in the world, FIS. And when she talks about diversity and inclusion, she's talking about a global discussion. I mean, they have lots of people in India, in Africa, in Europe. I mean, literally around the world, Latin America. They're in all those markets. So we tend to think locally, well, this is about black and white. Well, really, it's not. It's much broader than that. So you have to be culturally aware, culturally literate, and just a good listener in many cases to what people have to say and what they have to offer, and making sure they can bring that to the game. Because that's what businesses need. They need good ideas, smart people, but they need them in the game. And that's really what she wants to talk about. And she's got some experiences that she'll share, being in the Middle East as a black woman. I mean, it's just man, what a dichotomy, right?
Yeah.
Being in China, being in India as a senior black. She was one of the first black women to be named as a partner on Wall Street. The first, and she was at Sanford and Bernstein. She was the first black partner, the first woman partner in that firm. And so she's got some unique, incredible stories that she just want to share. What we're finding, Melissa, is that people just need to have context. They just need to be comfortable. And sometimes you have to have people that have been there to give you the language, give you the comfort, give you the knowledge, and give you a framework for being able to go back to your organization and just talk about these topics in a way that's not hurtful, in a way that's not divisive, but in a way that really uplifts people and motivate people to want to do the right thing. So that's really why we're doing this.
Well, I would encourage everyone to register for the Black Leadership Town Hall, sponsored by PS27 Ventures and the Jacksonville Business Journal. It's on Zoom and it's free, people. Register at Eventbrite. It's coming up Friday, October 30th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. A live and interactive session where you can chat with Jim, the moderator, and also this bang-up all-star lineup of speakers of Jacksonville's top Black leaders as they talk about their personal journey and their thoughts on today's most pressing matters, the pandemic, the economy, Black Lives Matter, and more. So Jim Stallings, kudos to you. He is the CEO of Jacksonville's PS27 Ventures. And again, register on Eventbrite for the Black Leadership Town Hall coming up on the 30th. Jim, thanks so much for being with us, and I'm sure it'll be a huge success.
Yes, thank you for having me, and we're really looking forward to it.